a heart attack.
Yes.
Right? I am not going to manifest something good. I'm not going to create a healthy, happy life. I'm going to have Big Mac arteries, right?
If I want to
Big
make
martyries.
if I want to make a batch of brownies and I use
Gravel.
let's see. Really, I use a mixture of flour and plaster of Paris, right? And real sugar and salt, but they look the same. I'm gonna have the worst brownies ever, right? So
They'll still look like brownies,
your
though.
ingredients for whatever you're making really make a difference in the quality and the taste and the experience, right? No different.
And
what books, things that I'm listening to, things I'm eating, what ingredients am I taking in spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally? What ingredients? And it's just basic science, y'all. If you have more negative than positive, your net outcome will just be more negative. That's all.
Let's stay on point one. What are you bringing in, right? So you are choosing your ingredients, okay? People think that they are a victim to their circumstances. Oh, I can't. Oh, I this. Oh, it's that.
Right.
No, you're not. There are so many things that you have control over that you don't realize you have control over. And a lot of that is what you allow in. The things that you allow. Now, you are messing with my microphone.
It is the worst. If you're going to make me have a beard,
Don't
then I'm
touch it
not
to your
using a
face.
clown nose.
Clown. Wow, the threat. But again, let's go back to focus on me for a moment, my dear.
Yes.
It says Instagram is still black too. What is the universe conspiring against us?
Okay, at least it's recording. We're not paying attention to.
Get thee behind me, Satan!
Not today, devil.
Not today, devil. Or you got to point at the thing.
Yeah.
So really, what we take in matters. What we put inside of our minds matters. The things we think about, the things we talk about, the things that we're letting into our heart matter deeply into how we then act and move in relationships. So why I think it's so important to start there is that we're not blocking out the things we need to block out, right? We're not actually creating a guard your heart. Like that is a thing in the Bible. It talks about it bajillions of years ago, right? Bajillions.
I've never heard that one.
I made it up. But guard your heart. And the reason that we guard our heart is because our heart is like the wellspring of where things come from. And when we don't guard it, and it's full of plaster of Paris and gravel and whatever other thing you said, we are going to have something, we're going to be producing something that we're not proud of, we're not happy about, it's not generative and good. Right? So we need to really think about, what are we letting in? What are we taking in? That's why Seth and I read so many Audible books. We listen to The Big Leap. We listen to podcasts like Lewis Howes. We listen to people like Joyce Meyer and Gary Vaynerchuk and these people who inspire and speak to your heart. Like, that sounds so silly, but that's what they're doing.
No, it's awesome. And sometimes I've struggled with the idea of, like, okay, I'm on a continual self-help thing, you know? I just go to conference and I'm just like a conference,
like a junkie
chaser or whatever, you know, but there never comes any real change. And I think that I've been in that because sometimes we can listen to all this stuff, read these books and go, oh yeah, I'm doing stuff. Well, I'm just consuming, right? I'm not like doing anything. And I think that with the show that we have, with all the ideas that we have, on the things that we actually execute on and get done, what?
I had a thought, keep going.
Then that makes us not on that path. So so I would say be careful. Like, we're talking about all this self-help stuff and do this, blah, blah. Well, you can be on that, but then it's eventually just a treadmill if I don't get off and go, okay, now I'm producing stuff. I'm producing good content that goes out there that helps people. And you said something when we were in bed talking last night, and it was amazing. And I know that this is a thing, but it just put it into a different perspective for me. And this isn't like bragging or tooting anybody's horn or anything, right? It's like you said, hey, the things that we talk about on the show, on the podcast, literally help thousands of people every single day. Because we get thousands, like literally thousands, 4 digits of downloads every single day. Even on days that we don't produce a show, there's people are getting the back content, right? And I was like, thousands of people. Like on a typical day, I probably see, on a high day, I see 6 clients, an hour each. You want me to hurry up?
No.
Oh, and that's 6. 6 versus 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. It's been as high as 6,000, right? So that was amazing to me. I don't know where I was going with that, but it was just a really poignant fact.
Well, and what you said a minute ago helped me figure out the third thing. So what we take in is number 1. What we do with that is number 2. So the work we put in.
Yes.
So we have to take into ourselves the content, the books, the ideas, the conversations, have friendships, have relationships that are really going to actually feed in a life-giving way your heart and your soul as a person. And then the second step is, how does that actually change what you believe about yourself?
Right.
The things you believe about your partner or your parents or your life you've had so far or what you can do in the future. Because I don't think people realize, like, oh, I want to change my life, but I still think my parents are jerks and did everything wrong. You are not going to change your life, my friend.
And maybe your parents or your spouse or your brother or sister or whatever did do something stupid and wrong. But guess what? I tell this to clients, and I have to think about this myself. We don't have the past anymore. That has literally already happened. The future has not happened. The only thing we have is right now, right? I shouldn't look back because I'm not going that way. I can't look too far forward because I don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
But I do know what's right here.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for us to, if we're going to make a transition and transform our relationships, we have to, like I said, number 1, take in good stuff. Take in helpful content, take in life-giving, life-changing, life-breathing content, and then use that content to change how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive our friends, how we perceive our parents, our world, and the role we play in the universe, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I think it's really important to think about, like, just the change of what you perceive has happened to you. Like, I hate the saying, like, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. It just sounds so weird, because, like, how did it happen for me that my dog got cancer? Like, that sounds crappy, and I hate it. And I'm just gonna say that I hate that. And I don't think it's right or wrong, I just hate it. I hate how it feels.
Well, I think people say the opposite of that saying, because then you get into a victim mentality. It's like, why does this stuff always happen to me?
Well, hold on. I understand that, and I get that. But I'm not saying oh, life happens to me and life happens blah. Like, I'm not being weird and putting that down. I have a different mindset about it. It's not that life happened for me. It's that now I can take what happened to me and turn it into something worthwhile. Because my dog dying of cancer with a giant tumor is not worthwhile. But I can turn around and say, guess what it taught me about love?
Right, there's lessons in that.
Guess what it taught me about perseverance and the fragility of life, the frailty of...
So that's how it happened for you. That happened for you to learn those lessons.
You know what I say? A big middle finger to that. But I get what you're saying.
I know that you're sad and, like, bad things happen to good people, of course. But yeah, okay.
But so what I'm saying is, like, how do we use this? The step number 1, we're taking in good things, we're learning about ourselves, we're doing all this stuff. How do we take that, put it into step number 2, which says, now this changes me, right? That could be an experience. That could be losing a friend, right? Losing Chelsea. That changed me, right? And how do we then say, reading The Big Leap, that actually changed how I see myself, how I see you and my parents and my education, or what I did and didn't get to do as a child, or the abuse that I suffered, or the medical conditions that I had. How do I look back at that and have a completely different lens and filter of what I see when I look back, and then project forward into the future? This is step 3. Then from that change, what do you give? What do you put out into the world? What do you do with your relationships? How do they become a new level of understanding and acceptance and forgiveness, and then like life-giving relationships? Does that make sense? So we have, what are you taking in, what are you doing with what you're taking in, and then what are you giving back? Because I think people often just take, they consume, they just want, right? We watch TV for hours a day, we never give any. What do you give back to the shows you watch? Zip. You paid YouTube or Netflix, you paid Netflix $9 a month. That's all you give back for the hours that you're consuming.
You give money, right?
Yeah, $9 a month for hours and hours and hours of consuming.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a great deal of addiction.
Well, yeah, that's something I really struggle with, because I can drink beer all day. I can eat 1,000 snacks all day.
And watch 1,000 hours of TV.
Yeah, I can.
I know.
What do you mean you know?
It makes me sad.
You're saying that in a judgmental way.
I'm not.
I
It
don't
makes
do
me
that,
sad. You kind of still do that slightly.
though. How?
Just barely.
What are you talking about?
You. And I love you.
Oh my gosh.
But I think it's really important that, so those are the first 3 steps.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's talk about them practically within a relationship, because this is where I think everybody gets stumped.
Mm-hmm.
Someone tells you the big, here's how you change your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, but what if my husband's a total jerk? Or my wife is like a mega bee
Right.
who smokes weed all the time. Well, then what? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say? What do you say how do people start to transform their marriages?
Like we said before, decide for yourself what you're going to do, right? And that is really hard, especially if you're a 9 like me, where you want the peace and you want other people to be on board, to feel like you're doing something. But it absolutely has to start with you. Like, I have to wake up at 5 in the morning and run 3.5 miles for me, right? It's not for you, right? I want to save money in our bank account for, well, that's for us, I guess. But I want to go
for you. That's
yeah,
fine.
it's for me. And
I keep our house clean for me.
right.
Like, I know you enjoy the benefits of that, but it's primarily for me that
Good.
our house is organized and clean.
It's kind of like when you went to Denver and I was alone with the kids, you know, and like I woke up on the first day, you know, and got up, looked at the bed, and it was a mess. I was like, well, I'll just sleep in it later. I was like, wait a minute, who do I clean? Do I clean the bed for Melanie? No, I like it when the bed is made.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make the stupid bed.
Yeah.
Even though you don't know it, you won't even see it, and I'll sleep in it and get it messy again.
Yeah.
Right? And I did it the second day and the third day. So doing things for yourself, and please do not take that as like,
an invitation.
let's go, girls. You know, and you're like going and gonna have, you know.
Do life-giving things for yourself.
Right.
Do beneficial things for
Beneficial
yourself.
things, right? And you know, everything is permissible, not everything is beneficial. Do beneficial things for yourself. Like, okay, I'm not gonna go eat scones today, and I'm gonna work out. Oh, guess what? I'm gonna do the same thing the next day and the next day. Sure, you can have a cheat day in there once a week, every 7 days to reset your body or whatever. But on the whole, it's like, do it again. You did something great today, do it again. What?
You said on a cheat day, have a cheat day to reset your body, and all I could think of was your sconometer is low. Your sconometer.
I can feel it when it gets low.
A sconometer. That's funny. But here's what I think. When you have a relationship that is struggling, if your partner is not willing to actually walk and have those conversations with you, if your partner is like, your stupid Anatomy of Marriage show is so dumb, right? If that's how your partner is, which
Right.
I've been there before. It was not be whatever.
You said our show's dumb?
No. But that can happen. That partners
Yes.
are like, I don't care about your life-changing experiences, ding-a-ling. If that's the case, what I want you to try to do is envision how your marriage will look in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year from now. And even if your partner stays like a gross crumbly cookie that no one wants to eat, if your partner stays that way, that's fine. Ain't no big deal. You can still do the work to get your marriage to an amazing place, but you have to see it first in your mind.
Right.
You have to see, like, how do I talk to my partner when they come home from work? What things do I do in our home? What things do I do when I'm at work that bring a tremendous sense of value and safety and love to my partner, even if they're like a stodgy old cookie in the corner that nobody wants to eat because they're being a fart face all the time, right? Like, you can still do the work, but first you have to see it. You got to see it before you can be it, right?
Yes.
And so, can you stop? You're just faffing, and that's unpleasant. I'm trying to be serious
I know.
with our friends. So I think it's really important
With our
that that you envision how, not only, like, envision what your home is going to be like. Everything. Envision how is it clean? What is it like when you eat supper?
Envision and also invite, right? Because
Oh, that's great.
that's big time, huh?
Oh yeah. Keep on talking.
Oh no. Envision what? Whoops. So you can say this a couple different ways. Envision and reverse engineer 3, 6, 12 months out, right?
Yes.
And you're going to do the same thing even if your partner comes on or not. But every day you're going to invite them. Like, hi, would you like to listen to the show with me? Or like,
Well,
I'm
you're not
reading
going
a
to do
book.
it like
What
that.
are you
That
reading?
sounded
Not
really
like
weird.
a weirdo, you know? But just like, you're living it out, right? You've made a commitment.
It's not a requirement; it's an invitation.
No, you made a commitment for the next 3 months that you're going to wake up and run on the treadmill. You're going to do a diet. You're going to read a book a week, right? And you're not going to be like, reading time. You're just going to draw boundaries around that, And hopefully your spouse will be like, hey, I want some of what they have. They seem to be pretty happy, and I'm sitting over here in my Duke, so I'm not, what's going on, right? And sometimes it doesn't go very good. Your spouse is resentful or like, you're so stupid with your shows and your podcast or your books or whatever.
And that's fear. And I want to just acknowledge that right there. That is fear. So I did that.
Part, right.
I did that to you. Whenever you would do something where it was like you're stepping out of the boundaries of what was expected, or even just like, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my master's degree and I'm going to do this thing. I would be at home and I would have the kids and I would sit there and be like, oh, that's easy for him. Oh, like I would be an ugly butthole about it. And I would be mad at you, but partially because I was too afraid to step out and do it myself. So your bravery made me almost feel attacked.
That's a good point. I remember you being mad that I went to grad school.
Oh, I was so mad all the time.
This was always the
it was always the plan. And I didn't realize that it would cause me to have a reaction like that. I didn't know that it would bother me. Like I wanted to go get a master's degree. I wanted to be a therapist. That was what I wanted to be when I was in school. And so, and so when you were doing, when you were doing the things that I had wanted to do, and it's not like I felt like I didn't blame you because I couldn't do them. That wasn't even it. I was just I just didn't do it. And that there was guilt. There was like, Seth can do it, but I can't. Like, I feel stupid, so I'm going to be mean. And so I was that crumbly, stale cookie that nobody wanted because I was choosing to let my fear injure you because you were stepping out and growing, right? And so it's really hard because the growth and the change that can happen when people do start to learn more about themselves, accept their past, create their future, often makes people feel like the floor is falling out below them. Like they're like, I don't know what to do. And my fallback, my go-to thing is to be mean or to be afraid or to have anxiety or to blame.
To hold on to something we shouldn't hold on to.
Yeah, to stay as small as possible. Because if I just stay right in this little corner where my stale cookie can stay stale, I at least know I'm in the corner.
Right.
I at least know that the corner's there, right? And so I was staying small and trying to make you stay small because what you were doing was uncomfortable.
Right.
You were like going out of our little corner of stale cookies and you were refreshing yourself and becoming revived, adding raisins and cinnamon. And I was sitting in the corner being like a pouty face.
Yeah.
And it was scary.
But this is what we do, right?
This is what we do.
Okay, so that's a good topic. I would love to talk more about it, but we're going to transition now.
I wasn't ready to transition.
Okay, sorry.
I just want to invite that part of the conversation into people's relationships where one, it's what you're taking in, right? So start consuming content that really makes you feel amazing. If you need to heal from your past, consume content that helps you heal from your past.
Right.
Listen to Joyce Meyer. If you were sexually abused as a young person, listen to Joyce Meyer. She was sexually abused by her father, and her story is incredible. How she got over it is incredible, right? If you need motivation to be a stronger dude, like listen to Ryan Mickler, The Order of Man. Listen to Lewis Howes. Bring some more ideas of people's stuff we can listen to.
Ed Milet.
Oh yeah.
Who else? Dave Ramsey Show. Chris Hogan. What's the guy's name?
Who?
We just interviewed him not too long ago.
Cody Jefferson is a guy, but he doesn't have a podcast. Who are you talking about?
Oh, darn it. The homie from Nashville. He lived in his car. We just interviewed him. Why can't
Anthony O'Neill.
Anthony O'Neill. Yeah, he's awesome.
He is amazing. Yeah, listen to his story. If you need you need to motivate yourself to change, just like you need to motivate yourself to take a shower, right? Or to do your taxes. You need to get there and use content that is going to get you there, right? So number one, what you take in. Number two, what you do with that transformation. Don't just learn how a treadmill works, get on it. That is Kyle Cease's quote. Listen to Kyle Cease. For the love of God, that man is a genius.
Right.
So listen to Kyle Cease and his work. Get on the treadmill emotionally, relationally, heal yourself, heal your past, get on the treadmill of fixing these things, changing how you see it, changing what you believe about it, changing what your future looks like. And then step 3, bring that into your relationships.
Yes.
Be it, but you have to see it in your mind first. Envision what it's going to look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. How do you speak to your partner? How do you love them well without being overly concerned with what they do, right? Like there's an autonomy that needs a very strong and bold autonomy that we need to be creating in relationships that we're not.
And there's a thing of like speaking into existence kind of things, like not just reverse engineering. Where are you going to be in 3 months? Oh, well, this. It's not that. It's okay. 3 months from now, I'm there. Guess what I've done? I did that thing that I was talking about doing. I wrote that blog article. I went and talked to that lady, or talked to this guy, or I started going to choir, at church, or whatever.
Like what are the steps that you took?
What are the things that you did? And you're like, yeah, and I did that. Now I'm waiting for an answer because it takes 3 months to get there. So you're speaking that stuff, It's like you're seeing it in your mind.
You're seeing the end result, but then you're speaking to yourself the steps it took you to get to that envisioned imaginary end result. That is a key component. Does that make sense how I'm saying that?
Yeah.
So you see.
So 3 months from now, you know what? For the last 3 months, I have been more attentive to Melanie. I've been more attuned. I learned how to do foreplay.
Did you? I seem to remember using the Ultimate Intimacy app.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's pretty good. I don't have the paid version.
I do.
Sweets. Anyway, it's your mantra. Like Gay Hendricks talks about having a mantra.
He's the author of The Big Leap.
The Big Leap. That's right. Which I'm reading for a third time.
It's amazing.
Third time.
So he has a mantra.
And it is I
expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same.
Right. So what does it look like for me to expand in abundance, love, and success? Okay, well, what does that look like? And I have my own version of that. So I'm putting it out there. Like maybe in Christian circles they would talk about like, okay, believe and receive kind of thing. Like I know that God is going to X, Y, Z or whatever. Well, it works. Like okay, you were thinking about, so you're going to write a book, right? And you've thought about it and you've thought about it and you thought about it and talked to certain people and you were thinking about it very intensely, right? And then the very next day, the guy that's going to be an immense help for you texted you, and you haven't talked to him for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Right. So. That's the thing, right?
It's incredible. We don't realize the power of, for one, just the power of ourselves, the power that we bring into a space, the energy that we generate and bring into a room. And let me just say it like this way. How many people do you know? Okay, I'm thinking of a very particular person whom I love dearly, but this person walks into a room. And
your sister Carrie.
My brother Jesse. Historically would walk into a room, and I say this is like, when a long time ago, but like he would come into a room and it was like wah, 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 right? Because he was sad, he was probably depressed, and he would come into a room and it was like he would kind of suck energy out of it just because his own state was so sad, and it was like everybody loved him in that room, everybody wanted him to be happy, but he didn't want to be happy, he didn't know how, it felt silly. And that's like the whole thing of my family. It's like everyone wants to be happy but nobody knows how. So I remember thinking, I had arguments with him about it. I remember arguing with him in our first home in Maple Valley when we lived in Scott and Diane's house. And I was like, why are you like this? Like you have to, everybody loves you. Just like accept it and walk in it and move in it and be energized by it. And because it's so weird. He brought, this is past tense, an energy of like sadness to the space. And I'm not saying, like, obviously I do think he was actually depressed and probably could have benefited from medication. Right. And I'm not just saying strong arm your depression. Nope. But I think it's important to see. That's a very tangible example of the energy that people bring. We all also have that one friend, I'm thinking of like Katie Costello. She comes into a room and it's like the party has arrived. She comes in and she's like flamboyant and she's amazing, and then she sings and everyone wants to watch her sing, and she plays the guitar, and she's like this prolific speaker just out of nowhere, and you're like, where does she store all this energy and vibrancy and life, right? So that's an example of an energy that someone brings. What energy do you bring to your marriage, right? What energy do you bring to your children? I'll tell you what energy I often bring. Pissed off. Why'd you put that there? Why are you doing that? Stop touching your brother. Right. Put that thing back. That ain't good. And so we want to be really aware of the energy that we bring to our relationships, to ourselves, to our partner, to our whatever.
Right.
And we want to figure out how we can change that through the transformation that we've gone through. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Anyway, we do need to wrap it up. Our
Yeah.
kid just walked in. His legs are hurting.
That's right. Okay, you guys. So, guess what? July 25th. Let's talk about
Oh,
this
yeah.
for 2 minutes, okay?
Yes.
July 25th.
4 days after my birthday.
That's right. We are having our very first Seattle AOM meetup.
It'll be 4 days after
What
my
does that mean? What does that mean? It means if you live in Portland, Oregon, if you live in Walla Walla, Washington, if you live in Vancouver, BC,
Or Renton, Washington.
or Renton, or Ellensburg, you
Squim.
are going to come down. You're going to drive 2 hours and be with other Seattle area, Northwest, Pacific Northwest AOM listeners.
And some from Florida.
And some from Florida, right? Paul and Robin, word up. And we're going to have fun, right? It is free. Donations accepted, of course. But you can sign up on an Eventbrite link that will go live today, okay? And we're going to this place in Seattle, which is awesome.
We've only been to the Tacoma one, so we don't know about the Seattle one yet.
Well, it's
We're
going to be awesome.
excited.
If you like German food, if you like German beer, if you like old-timey, funny table games that you will never play again unless you go to this
Shuffleboard.
place, it's in downtown Seattle. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be July. It's going to be warm. It's going to be rad.
It's gonna be
and
beautiful.
it's going to be 5:30 p.m. onward. And afterwards, we're going to go out and get coffee and dessert at the Starbucks Roastery, like the main giant thing, because it's close by. The one in Capitol Hill that we went to.
Where is the... Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to put more information on the Eventbrite, but you have to sign up, and space is extremely limited. Now,
we need-
if 50 people show up, then we're going to make it work, right? But right now, I have less than 20 spots open. So 10 couples, that doesn't mean that that's the limit. We can get more, however...
It's just hard. We got to figure it out with the restaurant. So
Right, with the restaurant,
Please, if
so-
you are interested, let us know now, and we're going to keep talking about it every day. We're going to talk about it multiple times.
That's right.
Because we need to get it booked and all of that jazz.
And a bunch of people have told me, "Oh, I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that."
You best be.
Who live in Canada or BC or whatever. So literally, come down. I know.
But it's 4 days after my birthday. Everyone needs to know. I love my birthday.
What? Yeah, I know you do. Anyway, okay, we're way over time. We love you guys. Remember to go and rate and review the show. It helps us go up in the ratings, so more people can find the show, more people can be helped, more people can live their life in an awesome way. So you're not in the frame. So thank you guys. We love you. We got to go. Too much
No.
tags.
I'm going to just say thank you because you're helping our marriage. You bring the positive vibes and the goodness to our world. And so we just are so thankful for y'all and what you do and the participation that you bring. So please keep asking questions. Please keep doing things in the Facebook pages. Join the Facebook pages. This community is amazing.
That's right.
And we're super stoked about it. Please rate and review the podcast on iTunes.
Yep.
We love you.
Already said it.
Seth
Bye.
is mad.
Love you.
Uh-oh.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.